right. Welcome to week 4, our exercise day. Today is the day that we're going to start talking about floor work and why it's so helpful to build strength there and practice there. We already touched on it in one of our modules, which is that getting confidence and positive experiences on the floor builds your confidence with your balance as well, because and decreases your fear of falling, because it's more recent that you practice getting to and from the floor in a safe way, rather than most of the time when people are on the floor,
Mhm.
it's after a fall, and it's uh, got a very negative association. It could be embarrassment, it could be pain, you could have an injury, then you're talking about a traumatic fall and stuff like that. So if we can start to get some repetitions under our belt of getting to and from the floor safely, that can really be a game changer for our mindset with falling and our balance. I do recommend that if getting on and off the floor is not easy for you and you are not confident in your ability, or you want to improve your method or improve your speed or just improve your confidence, I would highly recommend doing a short round of physical therapy or personal training with somebody that you feel safe getting on and off the floor with the sole with the primary goal of, hey, I want to get better at getting on and off the floor. I've had a few falls and I'm not happy with how I'm getting off the floor. So um, just want to say it can be safer for the time being to do this with somebody. So for those of you, you guys can participate as much or little as you want, as always. And so you can just fully watch, you take it in, decide what you want to practice later, and just kind of see what this is about. If you do want to participate, I do recommend for today that you do this on your bed. One of the benefits of doing it on the bed is it's easier and safer for right now. The downside is that sometimes there's so much give that it doesn't give you as much feedback. And so I have had people that are like drowning in the bed because they have such a soft bed with such a fluffy comforter. So um, starting on the bed today, I am going to do the exercises on my floor, um, just because in my house, that's the easiest space to demonstrate all of these things with the biggest view. Um, so participate at your own liking. Okay, so first we are going to start with a plank. Um, we're going to do 3 different versions of the plank. And so the first one's actually going to be with the kitchen countertop. So I'm going to leave it right about here. So a plank is, our body is going to be stiff as a board. So with a plank, the idea is we're building abdominal strength. So you're coming onto the kitchen counter with your forearms and you're kind of leaning, and you don't want your butt up here, and you don't want to just be chilling like this. You want your feet to be back and you want to bring your butt down and squeeze your butt so that you protect your low back. We don't want any of this. This is going to sag your back and kind of give that sway back position. That's going to be really tough on your back. So if you can kind of tuck your tail, squeeze your butt, and stay as straight of a line from head to toe as possible. And as you can see, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just holding this. So we want to build up to 3 sets of 1 minute, wherever is doable but challenging to you. So if that's too hard, you can start here and just be up on your hands, and that makes the incline a little less steep. So this is another awesome place to start. Other considerations are your hands and wrists. So some people cannot tolerate putting their hands flat like this because it hurts their wrist. So you can, depending on the area, if you do this on your bed later, you can kind of go up onto a fist here. It doesn't feel so great. But if you want to completely take the wrist out of it, I like this one a lot. So I'm going to hold this for another 60 seconds. For those of you that want to give it a try. So you're trying to kind of flatten your back this way, kind of tucking your tail rather than, you don't want any arching. So you're rounding your back up or flattening it, squeeze the bum, and pull your belly button kind of up towards your spine or towards the ceiling. And this one does tend to cause some shakes in the body. This one you should feel in your stomach after you've held it for a while. Should definitely be starting to breathe hard the longer you hold it, and maybe have a little trembling. Use your best judgment and do this until it's safe. So that was about a minute. So that's one of the best core strengtheners. I recommend starting with 3 sets to fatigue. So when I haven't done these in a while, I might make it 40 or 45 seconds in the modification that I do, which I'll show you in a second. And then just build up week by week. And it'll be very quickly that you're up to a minute because our bodies build strength very quickly. So I'm going to turn it around and bring you over to my living room. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Is the microphone working good, Bonnie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. So next modification is if the kitchen counter is too tall and too easy, then you can come down to a coffee table and just be on your hands like this in kind of a push-up position, or down on your forearms like this. Okay. And then the last option would be if you're doing this on your bed or on the floor. I kept my shoes off today, but if you're on your bed, you might want to keep your shoes off. If you're on the floor, you might want to keep your shoes on. The last way is, if you're building up the strength, is that you can actually do the plank down here on the ground, either up on your hands, just holding a push-up position, or down onto your forearms, or a combination. So you can touch your knees down and just hold here. So this was an option that worked with one of my guys. So either that or on your hands and knees like that, bringing your butt down. So is there any questions about the plank?
No.
No? Okay. That one is one of my favorite. It is a very good bang for our buck with abdominal strength and core strengthening. If you have a tendency to have back pain, this is a really, really, really good one. There are, if you end up liking that one, there's also versions of the side plank where you can kind of get your obliques there. So let me actually show you what that would look like on the countertop. It'll be like this. If I'm doing it on the counter, I like to stagger my feet one in front of the other. So I'll have them kind of like that. And then leaning like this. So you want to make sure your hip's not there, like sagging down there. And again, you're just holding this for 30 seconds. And you just breathe. And so that's really targeting your side. And so when I talk about core strength, I'm thinking of your whole midsection. So front, both sides, and your back. So trunk strength, core strength, I kind of use those interchangeably. And just talking about your entire midsection, front and back. A lot of the exercises that we do have core strength built into them as a secondary benefit, but these are some targeted core strengthening exercises. If you feel weak, building up your core can be one of the fastest ways to feel better, because if you have a strong core, literally every movement in your life will be easier, from even just sitting up out of bed, I swear to you. So I've gone through multiple phases of being stronger or weaker, and every time I would strengthen up my core, right away I would notice, oh, it's easier to walk upstairs. It's easier just to go throughout my workday. It's easier, everything's easier. So big fan of core strength. Okay, next we're going to go onto our backs, however you feel safe. And this one that we're gonna do is called a bridge. And you've probably done it and seen it before, but we're just lifting up like so. Hold for 5 seconds and slowly lower down. Up. So I'll do 10 of them with a 5-second hold. Let me know if my breathing gets too loud and I sound like Darth Vader over here, okay? I don't want to be breathing too loud into the mic. So with this, you're really trying to squeeze your butt muscles and lift up off the bed or the floor as high as you can. This is one that often gets very weak as people get older into their 90s, and sometimes can even affect their ability to roll over in bed, reposition. I've seen people that lose this backside strength, that get wounds because they can't shift in bed very well or shift in their chair. So after 10, you should feel some heat, some burning in your butt. That means you're doing it correctly. And so this exercise is strengthening our entire backside, really almost from head to toe. So when we go up, you are activating your calf muscles a little bit, and then your hamstrings are definitely getting a workout, and then your butt, and then your back. So in our society, because we sit so much, our backside, in physical therapy language, we call it the posterior chain. So really just the chain of muscles from your head to your toe on your backside, on the posterior side. So your entire backside gets very weak because we round forward. And so we need back musculature. Our back musculature is what holds us up here. So if we're constantly rounding forward, then our backs get weak. So this is a really great way to keep that backside strength, which helps with standing up from a chair, walking, holding our posture erect, all of those things, repositioning in bed. Any questions about the bridge? Okay, next.
I'd like to
Next
show
are-
you something.
Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
You talk about about being being weak and not being able to turn over, sideways or whatever in the bed. I've not been able to do that for a zillion years. I mean, really a zillion years. And what what I do, look out, kitty, move. You are in my way. You're in my line of fire. I have a railing hooked onto the side of the bed. That little railing.
Okay.
Can you see that little black rail?
Yep.
See it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a portable one. It's got a strap that ties underneath the bed.
Okay.
And onto that, I have this strap tied. I used to hunt many years ago, and my brother made me this little strap that went around my gun, my rifle.
Oh, cool.
And I have this tied to that. And this
Okay.
little handy thing, if I need to reach further to get to my BiPAP or whatever, and I need to scooch over further to the center of the bed, I just keep yanking on this thing to reposition myself.
Nice.
And I have used this for, oh my God, I don't know, 20 or more years maybe.
Wow. Cool.
And it's just one of my little handy dandy Carol Mead things.
Okay. How do
And
you do with the bridge? With the bridge technique that I was just demonstrating.
that's something that's I can't really do.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wonder
I can't.
if you were in a position either at a physical therapy clinic or at your house, but you would need something to prop up onto your bed, but an alternative. There is a modification to this exercise that you end up in a PT clinic. We have like big bolster blocks that are cushioned that are kind of like a big square or rectangle, a big wedge. But I'll use my coffee table, and I've used a
Mm.
chair with some of my patients. You put
Mhm,
your legs up and lift
mhm.
up that way. Do you think you could do that one? This one's
I don't know.
quite a bit easier.
I have a lot of difficulty, with my spine. I can't do like pelvic tucks,
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Well,
Uh,
in the future, just so you know that modification does exist if you ever wanted to take a
and
stab at it.
I do have an old fashioned, those bed reading bolster things you would put behind you to read. It's fat at the bottom and thinner at the top, and it has arms on it.
Okay, yeah.
Remember? Well, I used to cart that with me when I traveled, to turn it around upside down and put my knees over it, because I like to have my knees elevated.
Cool. Okay.
So, because now, I have electric beds in my home now,
Cool.
but before that, that was my knee elevator.
Cool.
I turn it upside down in the fat part, the slope. That was what my knees went over.
That might work.
And I don't know. if you know the OT, Chris Mahandi, is that her last name? I never know what she's with Neighbors Network. She teaches OT at Advent Health. Anyway, every year she brings her students to my house because I have so many modifications in my home that
Oh,
I've done over the years. So I mean, she brings students to a lot of people's homes every year just to go through their homes, make sure their homes are safe and make suggestions. But she brings her students to my home every year
oh,
because I have so many interesting things like the toiletvators that nobody's ever heard of
yeah,
and
cool.
different things that I have invented to help myself over the
Cool.
years. And my little strap to pull myself and just when you've been disabled for 40 years, you figure it out.
Yeah, that you do. That you do. And nowadays with so many inventions, it's
Yeah.
there's
And
even
you
more
know, it's funny,
options. So
things that I have invented that I should have patented are
for
now
real.
being sold.
Yeah. I
They
bet,
are
I
now
bet.
being sold.
Okay, now we're going to move towards laying on our stomach. So this position, go into carefully and know your body best and only do this if you feel safe. But we are going to come down to our bellies. Now, if just lying flat oftentimes can be a stretch for some people, especially if you have stenosis or any sort of kyphosis, then it sometimes even just being flat is enough of a stretch. And some people do not tolerate lying flat. So for that, I recommend getting a pillow and putting it kind of right under your belly and put enough pillows there until you feel safe and comfortable lying flat. So that's just that position. The second exercise here, if lying flat is okay, you can actually go up into a little press up. So we're just hanging out here on our forearms, and this creates a little bit of curve in the back and stretches out your back in that direction, which most of us are sitting all day in bed. We, might lie in fetal position on our side. We're normally curving our back the other way. So this is a way to give it a gentle stretch. You can either have it with or without the pillow. Without the pillow is going to be a little bit more of a stretch. So with this, it's just to your tolerance, to whatever feels good. Sometimes I might go down and back up a few times, especially if I have kind of a kink in my back. Then if I press up immediately, it doesn't feel the best. Today, my back is feeling fine, but sometimes I have to kind of lubricate it by going up and down a few times to get it to feel better. And then you should, after you do this a few times, it should hopefully become pain-free. So this one I like. This is just a really good one to be mindful of as you age, that you can just slow the decline of the rounding forward. So the rounding forward happens at the head and neck, it happens at our middle back, and it happens at our low back. So anything we can do to just keep the mobility of our vertebrae working in that direction and at least be able to achieve that position is a bonus. So if you're good, if you found a comfortable position laying down with or without the pillow, next you're going to, I also, if you're on a bed, a lot of people think that you want to have a pillow, but it actually makes it easier to breathe to do it without a pillow for most people. Sometimes if your neck doesn't feel good, turning to the left or right in this position. I have a lady that actually does exercises. She has a massage table and she can take the little face hole out and just look straight down as she does it. A simple option too is
Yep.
to kind of stack your fists or to fold up a towel so that it's right on your forehead. So then it kind of creates some space here that you can breathe. So with the next exercise, we're going to lift our leg. So just one leg, you're just lifting it straight up and down. So we'll do 10 on each leg. You want to keep your leg pretty much all the way straight as you can. And you're squeezing your butt muscle. Now, Carol, how do you do lying on your belly?
I don't.
You don't. Okay.
No.
If you
I
were
can,
with a PT,
and
would
I
you feel
can
safe
on a
to try
massage,
it?
on a massage table with my face through the hole. I can do it.
Okay, okay, good. Well, if you want, another alternative to do this exercise and still target the same muscle group is just standing at the kitchen counter, kicking your leg back, squeezing
Yes,
your butt.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
in the laying down position, we're lifting
Mhm.
up against gravity. So it's going to be harder laying on your belly. But there are literally modifications for every single exercise. So if it feels better to do this one standing up, then that's certainly a great option.
Okay, should I head downstairs then now?
It's up to you. I'm kind of going to be, you might just want to take it in and make notes of what exercises you want to try later,
Okay.
because we're not going to be on our bellies for too much longer. So I'm just doing 10 on each side. Okay. I do want to say a word about why that one's particularly beneficial, because of course we want every muscle in our body to be strong, right? So I could just do this workout and it's strengthening, great. We're strengthening on all our muscles, awesome. But I do like to give you the reasons behind why I'm doing what I'm doing so that you know just kind of throughout your lifespan of you can be mindful of these things. So where my head is at when I'm doing that one is that it's going to improve your walking. And the reason is when we walk, one leg is forward and one leg is back. As we age, this back position is called hip extension. So as we age or get limited mobility, we can lose hip extension. And so that's why you can see people start to walk with these short steps rather than flowing and taking a large step, as they've lost the ability for their hip, their femur, their leg to swing behind them and stay upright. So then their mobility kind of gets cut off at a certain point where their hip isn't going behind them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So doing the hip extensions either standing or laying down is great, just to maintain that mobility. Another one that I really like just for mobility, this would be a stretch, is to lean forward and stretch out the front of your hip. So you should feel kind of a gentle stretch here. It should never be painful to stretch. So this is more targeting the flexibility. If you know that you're limited into hip extension, you can work on the flexibility, and you might even do this stretch first, and then you can do the ones at the kitchen counter like so, and then you can do the ones laying down. So you kind of stretch it out, open it up, and then you strengthen it. So the stretching and the flexibility increases the range of motion, and then the strengthening maintains that range of motion. So that is a principle that applies to every joint and muscle partnership, every body region. Is first we need to have the mobility, and then we need to have the strength to maintain that mobility. Okay, last one, laying on our stomachs. That can be nice for back strength, is going to be swimmers or Supermans. So if I would just start with the upper body. So you're going to pretend like you're swimming, and you can do 20 or so at a time. And this is going to really strengthen up your back. I like to look straight down because it can be a lot of strain on your neck to look forward. So just kind of do a chin tuck and look straight down at the ground, and then swim your arms like that. And then another really good one for your back strength is Superman. So this is where you would lift up all your arms and legs and down. Lift up your arms and legs and down. And we'll do 10 of those. And if that's too much, you can do just upper body and then just lower body, or you can even do just one arm, one leg at a time. So really, really want to drive home in this class today and in this whole course that everything is modifiable. And if you see an exercise that looks cool and that or works on a muscle group that you're wanting to work, just find out what a good modification is so that you can do it at your level and still get the goal that you're looking for. All right. Now we're going to move into the hands and knees segment. So this is one of my favorite exercises because most people have not been onto their hands and knees in quite a while, and it's really good for core strengthening. You guessed it. So if you are weaker in this area, what I recommend is tucking your elbows up to the side as much as possible, kind of get them down towards your hips, down towards your, almost like you're trying to touch your elbow down to your belly button. And then you're gonna shoot your hips up and back. And then you're gonna walk your elbows in and go up like that. So then coming down, try to do it as controlled as possible, down like that. So again, what that's gonna look like, say you're laying down on your belly, you're gonna tuck your forearms down, your elbows by your side as far as you can get them. And then I like to think of trying to shoot my butt, my hips towards the ceiling, where the ceiling meets the wall. That's kind of what I'm visually aiming for. So you want to drive your hips up and back, head goes down, all in one fell swoop if possible. And then walk your forearms in to where you feel strong enough to push up onto your hands. So, any questions with that?
No.
Okay. Here is where you have some options with your wrists. So If your wrists are painful in this position, just with your hands flat, you can go up onto fists. I've also had people that doesn't feel great. So I'll give them hand towels to squeeze so that it builds up kind of something to hold on to. So then you're a little more supported there, not collapsing into your hands. Um, and then if your wrist just absolutely can't take it, then you can find an option like this where you're just resting on your forearms and your back is at a slight incline, but mostly you're achieving the goal. Um, and then I think that's all the modifications I had with the wrist there. Um, so one of my favorite exercises for this would be for someone that is very weak getting on and off the floor who really has a goal to improve that. Because most most of my patients that I've done this work with, this is not their favorite part of our sessions. It's hard, it's it's very taxing, and um, so I sprinkle it out. I don't do this every single session. And it's definitely with a very pointed goal of we are trying to get more independent standing up from the ground after a fall. Most of the people that I've worked with on this have had a number of falls, and either the falls have come with injuries or they have really, really, really struggled to get up off the ground. Um, so that's why I do think it can be beneficial to work on this with a physical therapist that can kind of um, titrate how how aggressive we're being with floor work because um, I really want to honor my patients, and if I can see that they're getting frustrated with the floor work, we might back off on that for a while. So um, I just want to make it clear. I'll probably say it a couple more times throughout the course, like most of your long-term exercise plans I recommend doing Otago. I recommend doing like the workout that we did 2 weeks ago, where we're having weights and we're in the kitchen and we're upright and we're sitting and standing and um, stuff like that. So um, some of these exercises are great if you can find a safe way to do them that's very accessible. Like one of my ladies, her gym has a massage table set up, so she can just go do these, and it's no sweat. It's no, there's not a big emotional tie to it. She doesn't dread doing them, so um, your long-term exercise plans, I don't want you to dread doing them. So if any of these are making you groan or grumble or not look forward to them, just cancel them right out. And these are really like to be performed rarely and with a very meaningful goal in mind. Okay, my spiel is over. Thank you for listening. Um, so with one of my guys that was extremely weak, one of our exercises was literally just going from this hands and knees position down to this. He could not control it in the least at first when we first started. So we could only do about 2 or 3 before he was absolutely depleted of energy and we had to stop. And then he got very quickly got to where he could do 5 in a row of just up to here and then down to here, and it became more and more controlled every week. And then he would just kind of catch his breath and then go up again. So again, depending on how squishy your bed is, this can be a real easy one to start with on your bed. So that's 3. Breath, and then up again. 4. And 5. And then, so that one in itself is a great exercise. Now, this one is a little easier. The only challenging part is just getting into the position to begin with. But once you're here, this is one of my favorite exercises of all time for back stabilization, especially the lumbar spine, the low back. So if you have any sort of back pain, this can be an excellent one for you to do, and there's multiple modifications, so we can find one for everyone. The way that I start, you want to be with your hands dropped right below your shoulders as if you dropped a plumb line, and then your knees should be dropped right below your hips. So you should be a human table, and this exercise is as if you were going to cut out one of the legs of the table. The table wouldn't go anywhere. So your back stays flat, and you just hold your arm up for 5 seconds. There will be a little bit of micro shifting, but what we don't want to see is a lot of rocking back and forth. When you lift your hip up, you shouldn't be really swaying over to one side or really sagging your back. So I usually start people with around the world. So go right hand, and then left hand, and then left foot, and right foot. Right hand, and you just keep kind of going around in a circle, lifting one extremity at a time. And with this one, I'm looking straight between my thumbs, and that's just to protect my neck. We just keep going around and round. And I'll usually do 10 times. Now, the progression of this would be lifting an arm and a leg at the same time. So once you feel strong enough there, you can actually balance on one hand and leg and lift the others. And again, this is where I tend to see a lot of back sagging. As far as how far you extend the leg, you can certainly extend it all the way if you want to. If you see like a beautiful yoga, those beautiful pictures with someone really stretching out, okay, that's great. But I don't really care about that. What I care about is the stability of your back. So I don't care if you only lift 2 inches up. Really what I'm looking for is that you're able to keep your core strong. You can gently pull your belly button up towards your spine, and that you're not flailing and rocking all over the place. So really, I don't go for the glamour anymore. I just will lift a few inches up off the ground, and that's perfect. Any questions on either of those? They're around the world or the opposite arm and leg lift.
No.
What'd you say, Bonnie?
I said, no, I got it.
Okay, cool. All right.
I got it.
Okay, thanks. All right, we're gonna do 2 more. So next is gonna be push-ups. We've already done push-ups a couple weeks ago on the kitchen counter. And so this is gonna be kind of a modification from there. So it's very similar to the plank position. And so I'll show you a few modifications, and they should look familiar because we just did all of these modifications with the plank. So one is first, the very easiest one is a wall push-up. So that would be standing, your hands are right on a wall, and there's just a very slight incline and back up. Then you can go to a kitchen countertop. If that's still too easy, you can come to something like a coffee table or a massage table or like an entertainment cabinet that might be in between. Oftentimes, I have gone around my patients' houses with a tape measure saying, okay, this is a 36-inch height. Okay, this is a 32-inch height. Okay, we're looking for something slightly lower than 32. And I'll find one that's like 17, and I'm like, no, that's too low. And then I find one that's 24, and it's like, okay, we'll try this. So you can look for all the furniture around your house and how high it is to just progressively get lower and lower. My coffee table is extremely heavy, and it's also pushed up against a couch. So if you're gonna do this on a piece of furniture, I would recommend making sure the back side of it is supported so it's not gonna slide out from under you. So here we go. And you can do push-ups there. You can do them kind of with your elbows by your side like I just did, or you can go for a wider base. You can spread your hands quite far and go down like that. So that's an option. And then the next option, which is one of my favorites, and I think it's accessible, I think it's actually easier than what I just did, is here on the floor with your knees on the floor and doing push-ups like this. Okay, so you're coming, if you're on all fours, like the table exercise that we just did, you're walking your hands forward a foot or two, bringing your bum down, and then pushing up like that. If even that is a challenge, because you can hear me breathing hard, it's not like that one's super easy. I have had people that the upper body is so weak that I just start them from the table position and I have them do presses like this. So you're pushing much less weight. You're really just pushing kind of from your belly button up rather than here is from the knee up. So you're taking out a lot of your body weight. And this can be a really easy way to start. And this works the back of your arm, which is a really good muscle group to maintain as you age. And the reason why, of course, I want to explain the reason. I may have said this once before, can't remember. As we age, the tendency is, for whatever reason, if we're using a walker, we want to put both hands on and pull up. The tendency is we're on a toilet, there's a grab bar there, we're going to pull up. So most people stay very strong pulling, and then they get very weak pushing. So the push-up is a really good, and same with the overhead press. These are really good pushing exercises that really strengthen the backside of your arm, also called your tricep, and helps you to maintain your pushing strength as you age. So that's why I like that one. Again, if we can keep the front and back side of our bodies strong, that would be ideal. And then the last one is kneeling. So from the tabletop position, you can just come up into kneeling. And so you can squeeze your butt there. And this starts to get into what we'll go over in the next couple weeks, which would be how we practice actually getting up from a fall. There is one position where you're going to be here before you bring your leg up. So Just even going from a tabletop up to kneeling, squeeze your butt, and then back down in a controlled manner. Come up, squeeze your butt, and down. So this is a really good balance exercise and core strengthening exercise. And you can have your knees a little bit just comfortably apart. And I'll do it from the side so you can see. This is really good for your glutes, for your backside. And you're kind of pressing your hips forward as you come up. So you go up, squeeze your butt, press forward, and down. I think that was around 7, 8, 10. So again, if you feel safe to do that on your bed, that's a really fun one to do there. If you need some hand support, that's totally okay. And you can do it in a place where you can get a little extra lift there. So that is that one. And I'll take any questions with that. That concludes our initial floor work session.
This is all recorded, right?
This is all recorded, yeah.
Okay.
Did any stand out as easy or hard, or I want to try that one, or that looks like the worst exercise ever?
I like the table position and then all the things that you can do off of that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I will have the recording there, as well as just kind of a bullet point list of the different positions and modifications.
Good.
Carol, any closing thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Well, thank you for both being here, and we will be off next week. So I will
Okay.
see you guys again the following week, which would be
You better send a reminder about that.
yes. I will send a reminder. I think I already have. I'm figuring out the email, so I think I already scheduled a reminder that we're off next week. But I'll go double check that when we're done. So I will see you guys again on the 28th, and you know how to reach me. I'll still be working, so I'll be checking my emails and phone. So if you need to reach me, just reach out.
Okay.
Have a good weekend, Amber.
All right. Thank you. You as well. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye.